Hello everybody, today we are going to create a Windows 98 virtual machine in VMware Fusion. So the first thing you want to do is open up Safari and go to winworldpc.com. When you get to winworldpc.com, you want to go to the library, you want to go to Windows 98, and we're going to go ahead and scroll down and we're going to download the Windows 98 2nd Edition OEM Full. And then you can use either server to download it. So just go ahead and click one of those and it'll start downloading. While that's downloading, we're going to go back to the previous page and go up to the top, and we're going to click on Microsoft Windows Boot Disk. When we get there, we want to go ahead and choose the 98 SE and go ahead and download the first one. And again, just choose either server. Now that it is finished downloading the Windows 98 CD and the Windows 98 boot disk, what we want to do is we want to go back to the library, click on Windows 98, and leave it on this page because we're going to need one of these two serials to install the Windows 98. So leave this page open, go to Finder, and then we want to double click on both of these in the download. So we're going to double click on the boot disk first. Now we're going to go ahead and double click on the Windows 98 2nd Edition. That's the CD. Great, now that it is finished extracting both the boot disk and the Windows 98 CD, we're going to go ahead and create the virtual machine. So go ahead and open VMware Fusion. Go ahead and create a custom virtual machine and click Continue. If by chance this doesn't show up when you first start VMware Fusion, you can always go to File, click on New, and then this window will appear. Then you want to click on Microsoft Windows, scroll to the bottom and click on Windows 98 and click on Continue. It wants to know if we want to create a new virtual disk or use an existing one. We haven't created one before, so we're going to create a new virtual disk now, and go ahead and click Continue. And then we're going to customize those settings. It wants to know what we want to save it as, so we're going to leave it as Windows 98 and go ahead and click Save. Now we're going to go ahead and change the memory. I like to give it just a little bit more so it's a little quicker. So I'm going to make it 512 megabytes and go back to Show All Settings. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and connect the DVD or CD and go ahead and choose a disk or disk image. I'm going to go to the Downloads folder and go to Windows 98 2nd Edition and choose the ISO. Click Open. The next is I'm going to go back to Show All Settings, and I'm going to go ahead and add a new device. I'm going to create a floppy drive because we need to boot from that floppy image. So go back to your downloads, go to the boot disk, choose that image and click Open. Now that it's connected, you can go ahead and close the settings and click on Start for the virtual machine. You can click inside the virtual machine and then press the Enter key, and that'll automatically start the Windows 98 setup from the CD. Now we want to go ahead and click Enter to start the setup. And it's going to ask if you want to configure the unallocated disk space. That's actually great, so go ahead and press Enter. And we do want to allow or enable large disk support, so go ahead and choose that and press Enter. And then we still have the Windows 98 boot disk connected to drive A, which is the floppy drive, so go ahead and press Enter, and it'll restart the computer and start the setup again. If you want to make it go quicker, you can press Enter here again as well. It's going to go ahead and perform a routine check, so go ahead and press Enter. This is usually pretty quick. And now we're already in the Windows 98 setup. So go ahead and click Continue. Go ahead and click Next. Here, I like to do a custom install. You can do any of those that you'd like. If you do a custom one, you can click Next and choose which settings you'd like. I typically go ahead and press the space bar to uncheck it and then press the space bar again, which selects everything. And I do that for all these items below. The only one I don't do it for is the web TV. And then I click Next. Here you can give it a computer name. I'm just going to call it Test and go ahead and click Next. And then all those settings are fine, so I'm going to click Next again. I'm in the United States, so I'm going to click Next again. And then I don't need a startup disk, so I'm going to press Control Command on the keyboard and go ahead and click on the floppy drive and disconnect the floppy. Now I'm going to go ahead and click back on the virtual machine, click Next, and then I'm going to tell it to cancel because I don't want a startup disk. And now I'm going to click Next, and it's just going to start installing Windows 98. Here you can give it a name for your username. I'm just going to call it Test and click Next. Then I'm going to accept the license agreement, click Next, and then it wants the product key. So you can use one of the two over there on WinWorld PC, which are right here, or you can use another product key that you have if you'd like. And then just click Finish, and it'll continue installing the Windows 98. Here you'll want to go ahead and choose the date and the time and your time zone. So I'm going to go ahead and select all that and click Apply and click OK. Great, now it's actually finished installing the Windows 98, so we're going to go ahead and log in. I didn't create a password, so I'm just going to click OK, and then it's going to finish installing a few more devices that it finds when it starts up for the first time. So this is Windows 98. One thing I like to do is install the VMware tools. So I'm going to go ahead and close the Welcome to Windows 98 window, press Control Command, go up to the virtual machine, and tell it to install VMware tools, and then click Install. If you get this message, you can go ahead and click Yes. It overrides the lock because the CD that's connected to it is the Windows 98 installer CD. So you don't need that anymore. So we're going to go ahead and click Yes. Now it's going to go ahead and connect the VMware tools to Windows 98 and start installing it. So we're going to click Next. I like to do Complete in case I transfer this Windows 98 from one computer to another. It already has all the drivers to work perfectly. So just click on Complete and click Next, and then click Install. Now, I'm going to go ahead and leave it connected, so I'm going to say no at this point because I want to make sure that it restarts properly and all the VMware tools are working perfectly. So go ahead and click Next on that, or click No on the previous window, and then click Finish. And then you can click Yes to restart the computer. it just restarted, and now it's wanting us to log back in. So just go ahead and click OK, because I didn't create a password. And now it's loaded the video driver, so the video looks a whole lot better. So you can go ahead and close this window and see that everything looks much more crisp. So now if you want to, you can edit your display properties. You can even make it a bigger size. You can make it 1024 by 768, and it'll be much bigger. That is how you install Windows 98 in a VMware virtual machine. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please like and subscribe. I'll be putting up more videos shortly, and I would love to have any comments or feedback from you. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like me to create a video or tutorial on. Alright, thanks so much. Bye.